the speaker, so I'm going to start when the speaker shows up. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll start with the invocation prayers, and if the speaker doesn't come, then I will continue with the class. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha
Jaya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivracharya Stotra Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham ki Jai Jagannathpuri Dham ki Jai Ganga Mai ki Jai Yamuna Mai ki Jai Tulsi Devi ki Jai Bhakti Devi ki Jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Shri Guru and Sri Gauranga. When the speaker comes, see if we can pass on the Bhagavad Gita and turn to chapter 2, verse 59. Hare Guru. Speaker switched. Yes. Yes.
Krishna Prasthaya Uttare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravaya Pracharya Nirvishesha Sunyavaya Paschatya Deshitanya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Sri Nitai Gaur Chand ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Vaishnava Thakur ki Jai. So this afternoon, the class is an interesting one, the one that hopefully will cause many of us to think closely about what we're doing as far as this whole devotional process. And Hare Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita, we've been given Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to turn to chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized in text 59. Chapter 2, text 59. So,
59 or 50?
59.
59. Chapter 2, text 59. So I will read the Sanskrit and hopefully please repeat after me. Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehina Rasa Arjam
vinivartate.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Niharasya niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasa bhajam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Rasa bhajam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasa bhajam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasa bhajam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Anyone wants to chant from this one now?
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Niraharasya dehinah.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasavarjam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drishtva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Anyone else?
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartate.
Niraharasya dehina.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drisva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Vishaya vinivartante.
Niraharasya dehinah.
Niraharasya dehina.
Rasavarjam rasopyasya.
Rasavardham rasopyasya.
Param drishtva nivartate.
Param drisva nivartate.
Anyone else? All right, we'll do word for word. Synonyms. Vishaya.
Vishaya.
Objects for sense enjoyment.
Objects for sense enjoyment.
Vinivartante.
Vinivartante.
Are practiced to be refrained from.
Are practiced to be refrained from.
Niraharasya.
Niraharasya.
By negative restrictions.
By negative restrictions.
Dehina.
Dehina.
For the embodied.
For the embodied.
Rasavardham.
Rasavardham.
Giving up the taste.
Giving up the taste.
Rasa.
Rasa.
Sense of enjoyment.
Sense of enjoyment.
Api.
Api.
Although there is.
Although there is.
Asya.
Asya.
His.
His.
Param.
Param.
Far superior things.
Far superior things.
Drisva.
Drisva.
By experiencing.
Experiencing.
Sorry. Nivartate.
Nivartate.
He ceases from.
He ceases from.
Translation by his blind says Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Please repeat. Though the embodied soul
Though the embodied soul
may be restricted
may be restricted
from sense enjoyment,
from sense enjoyment,
the taste for sense objects remains.
the taste for sense objects remains.
But ceasing such engagements
But ceasing such engagements
by experiencing a higher taste,
by experiencing a higher taste,
he is fixed in consciousness.
he is fixed in consciousness.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Shri.
Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of edibles. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for edibles. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga, in the matter of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc., which is the last one, is called samadhi. Everything is there except samadhi. So, it's recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna, in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness, no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Om Gnanati Vidandasya, Gyana Gyanashalakaya, Chakshurum Viditam Gina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Gina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Vedanti Swaha Padatikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Kinami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurabhani Vichari Nirvishesha Sunivadi Mastatari Sutari. Namo Mahabharandaya Krishna Premapadaya Te Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gulase Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So the translation again is, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So this text is the statement of our lives. You want to be a devotee? It is the best thing to do, but it comes with restriction. And embodied soul means us, those who are souls with physical bodies and subtle bodies. That's us. Humans, but there are other non-human bodies too. But we are the ones that can understand Krishna consciousness. The animals and birds and fish, plants, they can't. So this is actually directed towards us. Param Drispan Bhartate. So, experiencing a higher taste, we will give up the lower taste. So how does that occur? Well, it's a process. The Prabhupada qualified the process. He called it a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight. And I've heard many a sannyasi warn devotees, some people who come new, they think they're going to be pure devotee overnight. I've heard that so many times. We have things that we have been involved in under sense gratification. In fact, that's what we've been told that life is. You have to enjoy yourself. You try to enjoy yourself. It's nice to enjoy yourself. Nobody's saying something against enjoying oneself. But in Krishna consciousness, the enjoyment is there, but it is tailored in such a way that we also serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the same time. For example, people like to eat. Krishna consciousness is not against eating, but Krishna has a restriction on what we eat and even under what circumstances we eat, under what circumstances we cook. And then we know that we are eating remnants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to offer for under the restrictions of some food items cannot be put in, and some food items are allowed based on what Krishna wants. Now, we can call ourselves, as far as what we eat, we can call ourselves the general term vegetarian. We can. Srila Prabhupada has commented on that. And in his comment, he said, we're not vegetarian per se. We just eat what Krishna is allowing us to eat. So if it happens to coincide with vegetarianism, so be it. But we actually, and His Holiness Chandramani Swami coined the term. We're not vegetarian, we are Krishnatarians. What he says to eat is what we eat. To the point that even in one of the lectures he said that if Krishna was going to allow us to eat meat, we would eat meat then. We eat what Krishna says to eat. And that is what a servant should be about. What the master says to do, the servant should do. So, Krishna consciousness is a whole lifestyle that we get involved in. And when we come at first, unless we're fortunate enough to be born in the movement or in some sort of religion that has some of the practices close to Krishna consciousness, it is a change. Once you come to it is really experience a change. And then on top of that, there are people who are not practicing Krishna consciousness. We call them non-devotees, karmis, and so on. And in this world, one way or the other, we have to relate to them also. Mostly either in school or on the job. We have to relate to them also. And so then we have to tread carefully what we do, what we say, when we say things. But it is all in order to be able, it's all done by the Buddhists in order to be able to finally get to the point where this is being described in this text, Paramdrisvanibhatati, replacing the lower with the higher, replacing the material way of life with the spiritual way of life. So, yes, in the beginning, because of sense enjoyment that we're used to, we will not be able to cease from sense enjoyment like right away. For most people, that does not happen. And so Srila Prabhupada says, unless one is situated in transcendence, giving up sense enjoyment is practically impossible. And then he said that the process of restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, using rules and regulations, is like a person that is sick, the doctor, he goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, all right, for this period of time, you take this tablet, you drink this particular thing, but here's your diet. You don't eat this, you don't eat that, you don't eat this. The idea is that refraining from certain things will help you to get better. So, grudgingly, the patient says, all right, I'm going to do it because I want to get better. There's an aim. So it's not like those things that the doctor has restricted the patient from taking is something that is going to be restricted the rest of their lives. They're going to have to, at some point when they get better, be allowed to go back to it. And so in the meantime, what happens? The person really does not get away from the taste of it. We're not eating it, but we know what it feels like, and at some point we're going to get back to it. That's as far as it goes. But in spiritual life, it's different. The idea of the rules and regulations in spiritual life, which is called sadhana bhakti, by the way, it's called sadhana bhakti, is to help us to get to the point where those things that we give up becomes part of our lives. It's not like a doctor that is only for a period of time and then you can go back. No, it will become a part of our life. And when we stay with the process, especially the chanting of the holy name, we'll talk about that. We got to a point where we begin to realize, yeah, we can live without those things. That is the first movement away from sense gratification. We actually can live without those things. And then you get to a point where we feel, actually, it's better to live without those things. That is really pushing away sense. Oh, yeah. We can get away from those things. And at that point, those things that we call sense gratification things, we begin to lose taste seriously for them, and we begin not to miss them. But it starts first by forcing ourselves to go by the rules and regulations of devotee life. And in one sense, it's like people compare it to a mango. Mango at first is green, and if you bite into a green mango, it's bitter. So it's like that in the beginning. But one stays with it, and we also know that over a period of time, mangoes tend to ripen. And so at that point, we begin to taste the mango, now the mango is sweet. So Krishna consciousness is actually sweet. Not only is it sweet, Krishna's name is sweet. When we chant seriously, and seriously means when we chant with great focus on the name and think about Radha and Krishna when we're chanting, it will get to a point where just mentioning Krishna's name will actually feel happy. Krishna's name has that potency. It's there. Of course, if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya showed that so many times. But he was showing the mood of Srimati Radharani, and he is very much in love with Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's the Lord himself, but acting in the role of a devotee of the Lord, to show us how Krishna consciousness can be practiced in the topmost situation in practicing it. So, sometimes there are people who are given the opportunity to begin to disconnect from the material energy by a yoga process that, compared to Bhakti Yoga, is lower, but it still helps, and that is the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is actually described in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, even though chapter 6 talks, the title is Dhyan Yoga, meditation, but the entire process is also described there. So, Ashtanga Yoga is helpful, and since Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the steps, practically 7 of them, it's 8, but he mentioned 7. And so, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Now, what are they? Well, Yama is prescriptions. What's prescriptions? Things that you shouldn't do, things that are forbidden. Niyama is the opposite, prescribed duties, things that you should do. Asana is a sitting posture. So when those who want to get meditation, they like to sit in the lotus posture, cross, legged, and then practicing the breath control, pranayama, practicing the breath control. And pratyahara is to withdraw the senses. And then dharana is concentration, and there's a particular way in which you're supposed to concentrate. And Srila Prabhupada sometimes makes fun of it, but it just talks about having to not quite close your eyes fully, just almost close your eyes and concentrate on the tip of the nose. And the reason he said that you open your eyes too wide, you may be distracted by things around you. And if you shut your eyes completely, you might start dreaming. Worse, probably snoring. And so Prabhupada says, I've seen people have done that. And so that's that part. Concentration, dhyan, meditation, and the ultimate is samadhi, which is trance. And for people who do that, yogis may be able to connect with the Lord in the heart. So that's Ashtanga Yoga. Now, parts of it are included in this bhakti. Definitely, the things that we should do and the things that we should not do, those are listed in the bhakti yoga process. We have the 4 regulative principles, things not to do. And then the nectar of instruction tells us things that we should be doing, even the things that are the basis of loving one another, even that's described. Giving gifts, accepting gifts, giving prasadam, accepting prasadam, and opening one's mind in confidence to someone and accepting confidential information from others. That's in nectar of instruction. Those are all things that we can do. And things that we're not supposed to do are, apart from the regulative principles which regulates what we, part of our lifestyle, we also have things like stay away from gossiping, and the list goes on, literally. So that's yama and niyama. We're not required to sit in a particular posture, although the lotus posture is there. It's not a rule that we have to be like that. When people are chanting, they can get up and walk up and down and pace up, and they could do that. They can walk outside, go for a japa walk. And that's where it begins to, this bhakti begins to stay away from the process required in Ashtanga Yoga. Concentration, absolutely. We have to concentrate on the holy name. Like that. And so some of this practice in Ashtanga Yoga is used also in Bhakti Yoga. But the whole point is, we get to a stage where through the help of devotees, the mercy of Guru, and the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we become really, really, really connected with Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is this movement about? What is the aim of the movement? And he described it very simply. This is a reporter that asked him. Krishna consciousness, the Krishna consciousness movement is to know God and to also learn how to love Him. Those are the two things he said. To know God and to love Him. Now, there are people in different religions that do not know who God is. They don't. They call Him Allah, but they've never seen Him before. So there are those who don't know Him, much less even learn how to love Him. There are people who think that God is a dictator, that if you do wrong, He will punish you. They don't think in terms of Him showing love, or that us beginning to connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in love. But Bhakti Yoga is about Krishna Prema, developing love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that takes time. Why? Well, we have fallen out of love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead for lifetimes. Been out of the spiritual world for lifetimes, many, many, many lifetimes. So this is the reason why we are being now given a way in which we can develop our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead yet again. The restrictions, the rules and regulations, and some of the restrictions on sense enjoyment, those things are put in place to help us to change our lifestyle and connect more with the Bhakti process. So Bhakti first is sadhana by instruction, and then if you follow the instructions, over time it will become a habit. Now you just do it without thinking much about it. You don't feel that it's much of an imposition on your life. So then you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, and even the mind begins to help out. Oh, today I should chant my rounds. I've been on there, I've been doing other things, but today is going to be gone if I don't finish my rounds. So you get this warning So you pick your beat bag and you start chanting. You're used to it then at that point. Habit. Now from habit we begin to like what we're doing. And that is by the mercy of the Lord. Not that we become such an expert. By the mercy of Guru and Guranga, we begin to like this process. And from like is just like a lower level of love. Love actually has started, but at a lower level. We know it from friends. Sometimes there are people that we like, and then people say, this person I love, they have a more intense feeling towards that person. But it's actually the same type of feeling. Like is love. So from habit, we develop like, and then it becomes even more intense. And that's where we need to be, from liking to loving. Now, you know you are really loving this process when challenges come and you still do the service anyway. That's the indication that we are really connecting now with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in love. The challenges will come. That's just the way of this world. Full of happiness and distress. Happiness is a little bit and distress. So in everything, challenges will come. But when we put the challenges aside and says, despite what's going on, I'm still going to serve. It reminds me one day, just talking about this picture just came to my mind. We were in Kiranagi. At that time, Anstria and I, we didn't have any children. We were living with our spiritual master. And it was winter, and it had snowed a lot that day. And the whole arrangement for his meals, Bhakti Maharaj's meals, was some days we would cook, actually not even me so much, but there were turns, the devotees took turns, disciples. One day this person brings the lunch, another person brings the lunch, and so on. And there was some day in the temple, and it was their turn to cook. And there was at least a foot of snow. And the foot of snow was just what fell. And so the wind had drifted some of the snow too, so some places were a little higher than a foot. And I'm with Bhakti Maharaj, and we're looking out, and my god brother Jambavan has this tray. He's the one, he didn't cook, but he was the one that was sent to bring the prasadam to Bhakti Maharaj, living in the residence in another part of the Nagari. So he's wearing these long boots, and I'm seeing this drip like that, holding the plate with prasadam high like that, and trying to walk to get to the residence of Bhakti Swami. Many people would say, that is so bad, I have to do something about it. Maybe call and say, you live there, you cook, we can't bring. No. But the person that was his turn to cook lived in the temple. He was a disciple of Bhakti Maharaj. He cooked, and Jamavan decided, now Jamavan has a car, but you're going to drive in a foot of snow? Forget it. You're going up the hill too to get to him. He had to walk, and he walked through the woods. And so after a while, we looked and hey, he's coming, but I said, all power to you, boy. So he made it. He brought the prasad. So it was inconvenient, obviously, but then again, he's quite gutsy, he's a young guy, and so he did it. He did it. Long boots, getting all snowy, cold and everything, so put it in, then we put it back in the kitchen, warmed it up, and gave it to Bhakti Swami. So yes, challenges will come. There were other times too that it was my turn, and I lived in the Institute House, and I had to go to Gidanagri early in the morning to wake the deities, and there was snow, and I still had to go. You just take it as a challenge. It's for the Lord, therefore I'll do it. That should be the consciousness. Because it's for the Lord, I'll do it. Maybe for myself, I will not. But because it's for the Lord, I'll do it. And that builds some appreciation from the service, and it changes our consciousness too. It has such a profound consciousness when the challenges come and we serve anyway. It really, really, really affects our growth. It affects our connection emotionally to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimately, but connection to the devotees who be there. And one thing that's important, and every time we talk about that, we can ruin our own devotion. And one thing that ruins our devotion is offenses. That we can't afford to be about. A simple definition of offenses is don't do something to get another devotee hurt or uncomfortable. Just don't do that. Sometimes we will disagree. Sometimes we'll have to point things out. But you have to always be sensitive to how you're speaking, and especially if you really have experienced whatever the situation is and it made you upset, that's not the time to talk to anybody. If you're really upset and you know that if you open your mouth, how the words are going to come, something you regret, you don't want to talk then. You really should not talk then. Physically get yourself out of the area. Because when we get upset with devotees, or if, I shouldn't say when, if we get upset with devotees, and we say something negative, even to the extent of insulting, Srimati Radharani takes that very seriously. We need to know who we are. The devotee is a person who is living life different from billions of people on this planet who are not living life. The majority of the people on the planet are non-devotees. So we are very few. As a matter of fact, in this count is about how many? 2 million? About 2 million devotees? Anybody? Yeah. Well, the population of this earth is 7.5 billion. 7,500 million people. And out of 7,500 million, we are 2 million. See how few we are? Yeah. And we are the ones that have turned our attention to serving the divine couple, serving Guru, and associating with devotees. So we may see ourselves as, yeah, we come to the temple, we know each other, and we do whatever we do. But to Srimati Radharani, we're special. These are the people that have given their lives to serving my beloved Krishna. This is how Srimati Radharani sees it. So in her mind, no matter how or whatever level that we are, because we've said yes to Krishna, in her mind we're special. Because the rest, the overwhelming majority of people are not even turning to Krishna. They're not. So devotees have to be treating itself at all times respectfully, all of the time, respectfully, and we should never do things to make the other person upset. So then if there's issue of disagreement, how do we handle it then? Because that will happen also. How do we handle it? Yes, we can talk about it, but we have to use words that don't jab at that person. Certainly no insults. But you need to, and I'll give one example, and myself as an example. Again, Agita and I was new devotee, come from Washington, D.C., Maryland area, newly initiated, and learning things. And there was a Srila Prabhupada disciple. Her name was Mother Kalini. She's now left the body. And she was watching me for a while, and as a new person, there were so many things to learn in service, and there were some that I was doing wrongly. At first, I didn't say anything, but after a while, she sat me down, and she began to point out, you do this, this is how you do this is how you do this. He didn't say, but you're doing this wrongly, this is why you do. No question like that. He was just telling me the right things to do. And every right thing that he told me to do was opposite of what I was doing. So I could tell that was the wrong thing I was doing, and she was telling me the right thing to do. So when she pointed all those things out, then she ended by saying, it will be good to bear this in mind. And that's how she ended it. Mild words the whole way through. telling what to do, and then said, please bear that in mind. And left it like that. So you can, especially, I think another point when it comes to talking to those who have authoritative positions in different temples. And that's everywhere. Temple president is there, treasurer, board members, they're all there. And especially the temple president. Every temple president has a load. There's a lot of things that they have to deal with. Not just the temple only, but they relate also to higher ups, the governing body, commissioner, and so on and so many. There are at least 3 or so levels higher than the temple president that's there, that the temple president has to answer to. And so, if there is something that you want to tell the temple president, or something that you think needs to be changed, there's one way to go about it. The easiest way to go about it is to ask a question about that thing. Whatever you want to talk about, put it into a question form. Can we so and so and so and so? Put it that way. So when you say that to the person in authority, and then they will look back and say, all right, it's a question, therefore they can answer the question. And it's a question that will you get a yes to or no to, and with reason. But if you came and said, but I see this going this way, and it should be the other way, and so on, then you're challenging. And this person has so much of a load on them, now has to take challenges also. And then of course they're not going to be happy about it. So one of the easiest ways to do is to ask the question. And again, another situation that happened this time in Washington, D.C. There were 2 devotees that were, both of them were senior to me. They've been, one of them was preaching when Bhakti Maharaj was not around. He was the one that preached on Sunday afternoons. And very, very learned. One day, Bhakti Maharaj came from having traveled. And so when he comes, when he travels, a lot of people come to the temple, and he'll give an address and he'll preach, but they also talk about things that happen. There was a meeting with the GBC, who's the one that handles this society. And there were some things that were important for the devotees to know. So all the GBC members were told, mostly sannyasis and so on, were told that you tell the congregation about it. So Bhakti Maharaj described it. And when he finished, he asked, all right, are there questions? One devotee, one of the senior devotees, raised his hand and said, thank you, Maharaj, for describing this. I don't really think that the situations that the GBC members were dealing with, they didn't go in depth much. Now, understand this, that this is the way you're talking to Guru and said, you didn't go into enough depth. There's more to it that you guys basically say in many ways that you haven't handled. And Bhakti Maharaj got upset. But he doesn't show anger in his face, he just gives a blank face. He listened, and then when he was done, then Bhakti Maharaj opened up on him. This society is the one that has led you by the hand. You didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness, and the same members of a GBC have been the one that's coached you out to this point, and you got the nerve in front of everybody to tell them that we can't even make meetings to discuss things in depth. Then we realized that we're really upset. What's the difference? Well, I talked about 2 devotees. So after that, we were all surprised. But after that, there was another devotee that raised his hand. And everybody said, oh God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen now? But he phrased what he was going to say in a question form. How should we, and I forget exactly what he was saying. This first one I remember. The second one, it was in a question form. And it's like, my Guru Maharaj's mood changed completely. from a person who's annoyed to calm, and he just explained it, because it was a question, so he answered the question, he explained it very nicely, and that day I learned, if you want to make a point, you ask a question. It's always better to turn what you want to say into a question and have the person tell you, because most of the time, the leaders have a bigger picture of what's going on than we know. That's why it's better to ask a question. In that way, you keep obviously it's not offensive to ask a question. Then you keep that way, you keep your devotional klipa intact, there's no offense, and then you go on. So there are little things that over time, once you learn, we begin to get better and better understanding about what Krishna consciousness involves, and with the growth, then the love will come. The leaders will have no problem with us because we don't really offend them. We want to do something, they ask a question about it, and there we go. Rather than put their foot down and make decisions that we're not supposed to. So, looking at it's 6 o'clock now. Should I wrap up? Last question? 5 minutes, okay. All right. Now, with this last 5 minutes left with 4 questions. Teachings of Queen Kunti. Very, very important Shastra that helps us in our growth. After all, we want to be better devotees. We don't want to just be going through devotion by rules and regulations only. So in point number 13 for Teachings of Queen Kunti, it says, "My dear Lord, you are so kind that you are giving me your association in the form of your holy name. And this holy name can be chanted in any situation." This is Queen Kunti. "My dear Lord, you are so kind that you are giving me your association in the form of your holy name. And this holy name can be chanted in any situation." Srila Prabhupada comments that there are no hard and fast rules for chanting Hare Krishna. One can chant Hare Krishna anywhere. As a matter of fact, and this is true, what we're going to say next is true for this temple, children here, they also chant and they dance. So it's not difficult at all. And Srila Prabhupada says, when he was going for walks, his disciples would go with him, they'll take their bead bag, they can record it to record everything he says, but they'll take a bead bag also. And they chant. Where's the loss? But the gain is very great. And for chanting, when we do that, we associate with Krishna personally. Krishna is absolute, so his name is also him. We can't be like that, but he is. So when we chant, we associate with Krishna personally. And Srila Prabhupada gave an analogy. Suppose we were to associate with the president. No matter what country, just the president. We would feel very proud. Remember the day. Today, I got to be with the president. So, should we not feel very fortunate if we associate with the Supreme President? And that's Krishna himself. And the president, the Supreme President, who is able to create millions of other presidents in their different parts of the creation. That is Krishna. So this chanting is an opportunity to do so. And Lord Chaitanya says, "Itadashi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi." My dear Lord, you're so kind to me that you're always prepared to give me your association. Durdevam idrisham ihajani nanuraga. But I am so unfortunate that I don't take advantage of this opportunity. So this is Lord Chaitanya speaking in this Shastaka. This is the second. Shri Tagore Chandra Ki. Yeah. So he's expressing what devotees go through. We don't take advantage of this opportunity. So we should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra as many times as possible. And the last point I want to make is some cartoon in newspapers that Prabhupada talked about. The cartoon is about an old lady and her husband. And they're sitting face to face. The husband is requesting, no, the wife is telling the husband, chant, 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 chant. And the husband is answering, can't, can't, can't. Wife is saying, chant, chant, chant. Husband saying, can't, can't, can't. And this is what's going on. Many people know that it is Mama, but they don't want to chant. So, we, even though people say can't, we go on chanting. It's our duty. And if somehow or other we place in book distribution some literature in someone's hand, then they become fortunate because everything Srila Prabhupada wrote, he will tell you at some point, chant, chant, chant. It's there. Hare Krishna Mahamanta. You spell it out. So don't be like this lady's husband, can't. We always have to chant. And when we chant, we will develop love for Godhead. It is there, put there by Lord Chaitanya, giving freely Krishna prema. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any questions? Anyone or comments? Anyone wants to make? We are a little scanty today because I know quite a few people have traveled because of the this Memorial Day weekend. Anyone?
I can ask.
You have this? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just over here rather than the tip. Yeah.
So, it was a nice class.
Krishna's message.
Many times what happens is, in group, like in temple, or we have morning classes, so it's easy to get on the class or come to temple, spend time with the devotees, something is there. But when we are alone, like, it's not the same, like, we cannot open a book, like, it's not, like, books, like, all the time we don't open books, or some, like, or we cannot, like, open YouTube and put a class on here to it, like, because many times we are distracted to watch something else, or like, spend time on other things. So how do we, like, overcome those tendencies when we are alone?
This is quite common. In the house, there's a tendency to want to watch other things. There are some things after all, in the material world. There's some things in more to goodness, some things in more to passion, and some things in more to ignorance. Devotees are not restricted from watching things in more to goodness. We're not restricted from doing that. We're not. Of course, transcendental material is always better because it helps you to think about it. But at the very least, if you're going to watch something outside of Krishna consciousness, then it has to be in the category of more to goodness. Of the more to goodness, at the very least. Once we are going on chanting and watching and hearing more lectures, then even those things in the more to goodness material, after a while, they won't be so important to us anymore. They really won't be. And then we want to chant. And this is when chanting becomes not only something that we have to do, but we like to do. There's a big difference. We like to do. When we get to that point, and it comes, we just keep chanting, and the man will arrive at that point, and we begin to like it. We begin to like it. But many devotees do in fact watch some things. Don't watch things in the mode of passion, especially sexual things. You don't want to do that because that is against the regulated principle. But yeah, there is, as we talked about it earlier, people don't become pure devotees overnight, and therefore if that tendency is there, then definitely it should be something in the mode of goodness. Not more of passion, not passionate, or things that are very, 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 you know it's wrong, you watch anyway, and it doesn't help our consciousness at all. You have to stay away from those things. At the very least, mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. And also mode of goodness to the point where later we will only be doing Krishna conscious stuff. If you associate with the Buddhas more, you will actually not miss many of those other things at all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
One point I wanted to share in terms of restriction. You know, sometimes that word is, it comes with a negative connotation. That I was told by one devotee a couple of years ago that what helps to overcome that negative connotation is to replace it with something positive. You know, sometimes we look at restriction as something negative. So if we replace it with something positive, then we get the taste of positive, you know. Like, for example, you know, I'm just going to use this, you know, like sometimes people, you know, like to party, you know, because that's how they grew up, just partying. And we know that party is actually, you know, we are in a wrong association, people drink and, you know, all kinds of vulgar stuff and meat and so on and so forth. So now what can I do to replace it with something positive? Then we can do something that we have party with devotees. You know, we can still have a party, but it's with devotees, you know, that we can, you know, while, you know, if the non-devotees have dancing, we do kirtan. You know, the non-devotees have meat, we have prasadam, right? The non-devotees have alcohol, we have juice. You know, we kind of replace it. So that's one thing that I have learned that helped me in my Krishna consciousness is how to find the higher purpose. The goal is how to find a higher purpose to switch. Because sometimes we think I'm losing out. You know, oh, you know, they're having fun, I gave up, you know, oh, I gave it all up. You know, like we have this, it sounds like we're sacrificing it. But I think if we look at it with a high purpose, you know, sometimes we have to tell the mind, okay, if I'm doing this that is not good, what is the end result, you know? Bad association, bad vibes, bad environment, it's not good for my own life. But if we switch it with something positive, and then we ask, okay, well, this one has all these benefits, then we have to tell the mind, okay, this is not good for me. So it's just how to replace something negative with something positive. So that's one point I wanted to share, you know, and then to see the higher purpose, the positive benefit in it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for making that point. So the word restriction itself, that word restriction puts us like we are put in a hole, or we can't, we tight. Well, we're not really being restricted. Speaking in terms of just replacing it with the same purpose, but a better word that actually tells us what's going on is we're going through purification. This is actually what's happening. We're not being restricted, but we're being purified in order to do better things. And sometimes the purification process may involve things that we are a little reluctant to do, but if we do it, the end result is good. Right now, Swami gave an analogy that Guru wants to offer us to Krishna. But he won't offer us to Krishna when we are spiritually dirty. So it's like a cook in the kitchen and we are the vegetables. And so the cook is the guru, and he takes the vegetables, and you know that you have to peel the potatoes and wash the potatoes and put it in a hot oil and stir it around and add other things into all the bodies are feeling the heat. We are the vegetables. But when it's all finished, very nice spoken, we can offer to Krishna. So the purification process is like getting ourselves raw to a cooked and a situation where we can be offered to Krishna, just like Bhoga is offered to Krishna. So actually, it's not restriction, it's purification. It's actually purification. That's what we're going through. So there is no restriction. We'll be better off in the end. Very nice, clean, and offered to Krishna. We'll be very happy. You want to satisfy Krishna's senses? That's how it's done. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments? If not, then thank you very much for coming. We'll just continue with the next item, which is Guru Puja. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki, Ananda Koti Vaishnavindi ki, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivacharya Gaur Bhaktavindi ki, Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Ke Govardhan ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Mathura Dham ki, Navadvip Dham ki, Jagannath Dham ki, Jagannath Swami ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitya Gaurachandra ki. Jagannath Balaji Subhadra ki. Want to welcome devotees to our Sunday program. Thank you so much for coming. It's nice to see that, we still can make time to come out and see the Lord, even if it's a holiday weekend. It's always nice to come and be with the devotees, associate with the devotees, dance in kirtan, hear a wonderful lecture, and also really end the weekend, like we heard in class. The more we do such activities with the Lord and His devotees, the more we slowly become detached from whatever is happening out there. Then we realize, oh wow, it's nice to be with the devotees, because we speak the same language, we speak meaning the same spiritual language, the same spiritual lingo, we eat the same prasadam, we do everything the same. So it's nice, and we're all one mindset. So thank you for coming out. I especially would like to welcome our guest, Sridhar Prabhu, right? Hare Krishna. So nice to have you. He just moved into the area. He actually him and his family moved from Cleveland to southern New York. So he's going to be part of our congregation. We're very, very happy that you have joined us smack in the middle, and we'll definitely connect with you more. Prabhu, he called me yesterday, so I'm very happy that you're able to come out, and hope you like the program. And yes, Cleveland is a long way. I have God family up there, so it's nice to have you, and hopefully your wife will join us soon once she's done with the school. Thank you so much for joining us. And please, when you all see him, please welcome him to our congregation, to our Harrisburg family, and so that we can make each other feel comfortable and welcome. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Few announcements. Would like to request the board to please make note. As soon as we come into June, May, June, it gets very busy. It gets so busy that it's even hard to keep up with life, let alone what's happening in the temple. It's like you have to have multiple calendars. I have at least, I don't know how many calendars, so thank God I have these young people keeping me on track of what's happening. So next weekend, Sunday program, we are going to be giving out clay pots. And we will explain why. It's part of the Panihati festival that we are going to be celebrating on June 30th with His Holiness Chandramali Swami. Maharaj just flew, today is what day? Sunday. Actually, he just flew into US today. He's actually in Dallas right now. So he's going to be making his trip. He's got a very short trip this month, only for a month. So Maharaj is going to be traveling quite a bit. In 1 month, he goes back at the beginning of July. So whenever he comes, he always makes sure he comes to Harrisburg. And somehow he has squeezed us in, and we're very, very blessed to have Chandramali Swami celebrate our first ever Panihati festival in this temple. And we will definitely share more about the festival next Sunday. But please come and collect your clay pots, and we'll tell you more about it. We're going to give it out next month, so you have about a month to decorate it. And then we'll tell you what to put it in, what to put in it, and bring it back on June 30th as an offering to Nitya Gaurachandra for the first ever Panihati festival. And again, like I said, if you come next Sunday, you can get the clay pots, and you'll hear what is Panihati all about, and why is it so special to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Very, very special. We try to do as much as we can to bring festivals into the temple that is very much directly related to Nitya Gaurachandra, Lord Chaitanya, because that is their mood. Everything is around them. They are the boss. They are the center of our lives, center of this temple. So you'll hear more of that next week. June 16th, we have another special guest, His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu, a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, very amazing. You have heard his Bhagavata classes. Now you will get to meet him in person. Amazing book distributor, amazing speaker, powerful devotee, has a lot of experience besides being a very good book distributor, he's, I think, 72 years old, and till today he goes out and distributes Prabhupada's books in Atlanta. He still does it till today. Enthusiastically, with so much vibrancy. So it's very nice to hear from him. So please do block the calendars for June 16th to hear from His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu. June 30th, as we know, is Panihati Festival with His Holiness Chandramali Swami. And because our Rath Yatra got changed, we will be celebrating Snana Yatra on July 7th. Everything is early this year because the Lord wants to come early. When the Lord comes early, then we have to change our lives, change our plans, change everything according to what the Lord wants. That's how it rolls, you know. So July 7th is Snana Yatra. We will have an Abhishek of Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. It will be a full, Panchamrit Abhishek. So please do join us on that day and then the only time that we bathe Lord Jagannath with Panchamrit is on Snana Yatra. No other days do we bathe Lord Jagannath because they're made of wood. So that's why we only bathe them once a year on Snana Yatra with the 5 liquids. And July 7th is our once a lifetime in 2024 to bathe the Lord and the 5 liquids. So please do join us on July 7th with Snana Yatra, followed by our famous Rath Yatra, our 14th annual. Can you believe it? It's been 14 years that we've been doing this, Rath Yatra, every single time. It's amazing. I get 14 here as well. It's pretty amazing. So please, July 20th, you're going to hear a lot of, by the beginning of June, you're going to hear a lot of news. We need help with this, we need help with that, we need help with this, we need help with that. So please, whatever help you can offer, whether it means being in person to help with the service, or through your very kind and generous monetary donation, please do come see me, because it's less than 2 months and we are Rath Yatra. And it's going to be on July 20th. And so this is, like I said, it's going to get more busy, but I'm not going to overload. This is itself as an overload. With so many things happening in the next few weeks. Without further delay, I'm going to ask Rohit if he can do the prasadam prayers, and then we will go down for prasad. And please do not forget to take Chanamrit, which is the sweetened bathing water of Nitai Gaura Chandra. They would just rest once a week. Whenever we bathe the Lord, we keep the Chanamrit sweetened with sweetener so that everybody can enjoy and get the mercy of the Lord's bathing water. So please do not forget to take that before you go down for prasad. Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Namo Brahmane Vaishnave,
Namo Brahmane Vaishnave,
Jivekare Vishe Sagar
Yeah, same thing. Actually, we didn't take extra.
Yeah.